What's up, y'all? How are you this evening? I hope that you guys can see me. I'm trying to get situated here to make sure that I can see me. Sorry for the time challenge here today. It's just been one of those weeks, I think. I don't know that it's just been one of those weeks. So I'm going to give it just a minute and see who all can join me. Hopefully we have a few of you out there that'll pop in and spend a little time with me as we wrap up this day a year later. I'm trying to make sure it looks like I got maybe somebody's on here with me. We'll see. You're hearing me ruffle through cords because I realized a minute ago that my iPad was about to die, and so I had to go grab the charger for it. And so now I've got a little bit more power cord going on here than I normally do on my desk, because I thought that I had it charging overnight, and I guess I didn't because it's only showing 20%. So, but I thought I had it ready to go, and again, I guess I should have double checked, but that's okay. We're going to get there. I'm going to try to set this over here where I can see it while it's plugged in, and so that I can see comments as they come in. Haha, there we go. So hey Robin, hey Doc, how are you guys doing? So I will go ahead and tell you, this is probably a little bit the least prepared that I've been for one of these. I do have an idea. I do have the hard part kind of figured out. I want to make sure this cord doesn't mess us up here. Because again, I've got the phone plugged into one cord. I knew that it was going to have to be done. And then I have the iPad plugged into another one, and that was something a little different. But we're going to play tonight with the Turtle and Friends stamp set, and we're going to pair it with this Biggest Wish. I think that those two together make a fun pairing, and we're going to have a little bit of fun here. We're going to do something a little different. Get this other light in over here just in case, because it gets a little dark on this one side. There we go. Excellent. So again, now I will warn you, this is the kind of project that it doesn't actually require any dies. It only requires 2 punches the way I used it. You could eliminate one of them easily by just choosing a different stamp, by having something that I don't have, and we'll get to that. But it's kind of a fun card, and I think it's gonna be neat to do, and so hopefully you'll bear with me. But it is a lot of paper. Measurements, if you do it the way that I did it. I didn't invent this. This is from Dawn Griffith. So for any of you guys that like her and follow her, I think that she does a pretty great job in some things, and I love the way she explains things, and she has a lot of different ideas. So we're going to start, and I've got my notes here. I'm going to have to move things around here just a little bit just to make sure I can see what I'm giving you guys. So the first part we're going to do here is we're going to build kind of a mechanism, and this is what it's going to do. This is my thought. This is kind of my rough draft that I've been working on, and it's going to do this, right? So it's going to tuck in here and pop out, right? So a little bit of fun here. So I had to make a test run and make sure that I had everything that I could do. All right, so for this part right here that we're making, you're going to want a piece of 4 3/4 by 7 1/2. And so this is where your scoring tool is going to get used a lot of it today too, okay? But I promise it's not a real complicated project. It's just a few steps to get that mechanism built. And then it's just stamping and layering. So 7 1/2 by 4 3/4, and I'm going to score at 3 1/4 on this end, which is not the center, which we're so used to doing. So keep that in mind. And then I'm going to flip on the short edge, and I'm going to score at a 1/2 inch here. And then I'm going to flip it, and then I'm going to score at a 1/2 inch over here, okay? Oh, if I can get it. I don't know why whenever I get part of the way down, I don't score good. I don't know if it's me, or it probably is me. I don't think it's a scoring tool. I think it's just me. I usually do these kind of things with the trimmer, but this is not the kind of project that you want to do with the trimmer. You can, but it's just not ideal. Okay, so that's that piece. So now we're going to do this white piece right here. Okay, this part that flips out. So that piece is 3 1/4 by 6 1/4. Okay, so 6 1/4 by 3 1/4, and we're going to score it at 2 3/4. So, and down. Okay, so that's how we're going to do it, that one. Okay, so then we're going to have this little bitty piece. I can dig him out of the little bucket here. I got me a little tray over here with my pieces. This is 2 1/8 by 2 1/8 square. Now this is where, you know, you've probably not seen anything you can't do on the trimmer thus far. This is the one that you're really going to want your scoring tool for. Okay, so we're going to start by scoring at a 1/2 inch. Okay, and then we're going to flip this, and we're going to do a 1/2 inch again. Okay, now this is where the fun part of the scoring tool comes in. We're going to score at basically every score line in between these as well. Okay, and there's a reason for this, because it's going to make this thing flippy floppy. Okay, I don't know what the technical name of this card is. I haven't seen it a lot. I thought it looked fun. And I thought we're going to have a little fun with this thing, right? This is kind of one of those that it's a lot of stamps, ink, and paper. So, you know, for those customers that don't have all the dies and everything, that's what, you know, you want them to be able to play with. And if you wanted to have a little bit more of an advanced class around this, you could. So now we're going to take this piece. And you guys know how you curl ribbon, right? We're going to do that with this piece right here where these score lines are. Because we want this piece to be really, really bendy, right? So we'll just hit it a few times here, just like you're curling ribbon. For those of you that take the scissors and do that when you wrap gifts and stuff. And then I'm going to go the other way with it. Because again, I want it pretty flexible. And I want to break those fibers and that paper down. Okay? Now, if you're not one of those people that, you know, if you have customers that struggle doing this, you can actually fold on every single one of those score lines. But to me, that's a challenge, okay? I'm not about to try to do that. So then I'm going to fold these pieces in at so where we did the 1/2 inch score. Hopefully you can see that. We're just going to fold it in on themselves. But we want this, you can see how flexible that is, right? That's how we want this. So this way it's an easy mechanism just made out of all paper. So you don't have to get rubber bands, you don't have to get plastic and all that other stuff. It's just all paper in that mechanism to make it work, okay? So again, see how flexy that is? You want it pretty bendy, okay? So then we're going to take this, we're going to bend him in. Go ahead and burnish that good. And give him a little bit more pressure. There we go. Now, we're going to go back to our big piece here, and I'm using Granny Apple Green. And to kind of help you, I'm going to go ahead and just score these in. I'm going to burnish these in, okay? We're just going to kind of burnish on all these score lines. And we're going to go here. Okay. So now, the fun part of this, like usual, we're going to cut a section off. And probably not the section you think. We're actually going to cut this long section off, okay? So you got a short side from where it bends, right? You can kind of see that. And you got a long side. So we're going to cut these long edges from the score line to the edge off. So if you want to use your trimmer, if you're one of those kind of people, you can. I just feel like sometimes that's more trouble than it's worth. On something like this, you may want a pair of long scissors if you want. This is something that if you are doing it in a class, you might could even pre-do this for your attendees and have this part, you know, all ready to go for them if you wanted to, right? So that they could just worry about having the fun of assembling this thing and rocking on, right? So this is not Trying to make sure I can do here. So, hey Libby, how are you, hon? I'm trying to glance up at comments while I'm doing this, so if I miss anything, I promise I'll go back after a while. I'm going to flip this over. I think I can see better on that score line sometimes. I'm always doing things backwards, so I don't know about you guys. Some things I'm just not meant to do in life. Okay, so see, there's that part, right? So now we're going to take this. Now this is the part where I'll tell you I didn't have the punch. So I used the one that I did have, and somebody else that knows our punches can tell me better than I can which one this is. This is the one I used, okay? Because I wanted that little circle in it, and this is about the right size. Now you can use one of those fancy tag punches and all that, but my one that I had actually retired, so I didn't want to use, contraband stuff on this, so I thought I'll just problem solve and do this, and then I took some ribbon and wrapped a little piece of twine around it for my pull. Okay? So nothing fancy there, no rocket science that I think you guys need to know. But again, that was my problem solution. If you have one of those tag punches, it'll already have the hole there and everything. You won't have to do that like I did. But again, I didn't even notice that it had retired and I didn't have another substitute in my stash. So I guess I'll either have to break down and buy those dies or get another one of those tag punches that are out. So now, on this long piece here, on the biggest section, we're going to kind of center this on this right side flap. And yes, on the inside, not the back side, okay? And don't worry, we're going to cover this up. It's okay. So no worries and don't need to freak out on me, okay? Don't think Trish messed up because she didn't yet, okay? And notice I said yet. Doesn't mean she won't. She just hadn't done it yet, okay? So, label me fancy. Thank you, Doc. I knew somebody on here would know. I'll send you your prize for that later. Okay. So this is actually going to go this way. So whenever you're kind of setting this up, and this is how I visualize whenever I'm doing any kind of complicated project like this, I kind of have to visualize it as I go. So this piece right here, we're going to connect kind of like this, okay? So we're going to put tear and tape on both of these long sections right here. You cheated, did you? That's all right, Doc. I would have too, right? So that's good. Yeah, I've got my catalog over here, but it's got stuff stacked up on it. So, and I know that I've got a room full of demonstrators watching me, so I feel like between all of you guys, somebody could have figured it out. All right, next time I'll have candy to throw you for a prize, right? Okay, so I'm only going to peel one side of this off to start. And there's a reason for this, and I'll talk you through this. So this part right here, I'm going to take, and I want to just line up on the edge of this piece right here. This short side right on the front. We're just going to kind of put it on there, right? Oh, if I could get it straight. Promise my other ones went easier. Okay, so there's that one, right? So we don't want to attach and undo this one just yet because, okay, I'm going to make sure I got this going the right way here. Actually, it might work. We'll try it. I may have actually just put that on upside the back wrong way. Oh, careful. The good part is nobody should see that part, right? What they don't see doesn't exist, right? So let's get this to go the right way. Yep. So where it flips in. Okay. Yeah, that's what I did wrong. Got it. Is that it? Like I said, I did this, and I didn't have you guys on here, so the pressure wasn't on when I was doing this a while ago. Okay. Like I said, nobody's going to see this part, so it's okay if it looks horrendous, okay? So don't worry. Again, I told you I hadn't messed up yet. Give me time and I would. Ah! There we go. We'll get this, I promise. I have to prepare for the enabling that happens with these demos. Yeah, just hang tight. you know, this was I had multiple ideas in my head around this little turtle set. And a lot of it was just around some simple cards that we could do. But I thought, you know, I'm just going to challenge them a little bit. I'm going to give them something a little different. Okay, so let's try this again, okay? And hopefully we won't have to rip it back up. So this is how I'm going to do this. And I'm going to kind of line it up. And I'm going to pull it, flip it that way. So as I said, that's why I didn't think it looked quite right to start with. Okay, so now again, we're still going to wait before we attach the other one. And so what you want to do is you want to kind of take your piece and do this right here. So what it will do is this should wrap around, right? It may bow a little bit, that's okay. But what's going to happen is this, whenever you pull it out, and so you might want to not have it closed. So you leave that like that. So you want to kind of start pulling until you see this part right here. You see this little part where we did all the score lines? You don't want that when they pull it out to show. So you want to make sure that you kind of go in where just around the edge of it where you can just barely see it trying to peek out, right? So that's where you want it, and you want to center your piece here kind of in the middle of everything, right? And then we're going to peel this off and stick it down. So that's why I told you, you know, nobody was going to see that goof, right? Because it's going to be hidden behind the panel. And all of a sudden today my fingernails are not wanting to work. There we go. Okay, so then we're just going to lay that down there, okay? So now what will happen is, and I like to do it like this, you can see that as they pull it, it'll flip open. Oop, okay? Pretty cool, huh? So again, that's kind of the rocket science part of this whole project. Okay, and the rest of it is just kind of stamping and assembling a bunch of layers. And it's as many layers as you want to put in here, okay? You don't have to do any more than you want. You know, have some fun with it, decorate it, any stamp set. But I think once you see all the sections that you can stamp on, you're going to be like, wow, you're going to want a set with several images in it to really kind of get the benefit of this design, okay? So now I'm going to wrap this around, and I'm going to wrap it around the back because it's kind of the easy way to go. And I'm using tear and tape because I want it to hold. I don't know the Seal Plus well enough to know if it will, how it compares to the tear and tape. Somebody else on here might can tell me that if you've messed with it on these kind of projects before. So one thing that, you know, even Dawn shared was that if you wrap this and you try to tuck it on the inside, then you're going to have to do an extra step. And I'll let you go find her video to see what that extra step is. And then, so like I said, this is how it's going to work. But what happens is if you put this piece right here on the inside and try to do it that way, whenever you go to tuck it in, this is going to catch this right here. So it won't go back in. So you have to put an extra layer of like designer series paper or whatever to cover up that edge. And she talks you through that if that's something that you want to do and you're just one of those folks that don't want this. But by the time that you layer it on your card, it's not really going to matter the way I did it, okay? So there's that part. Now we're going to do a lot of stamping, okay? We're just going to have a little play time. So this piece right here, we're going to stamp, and this is going to go right here. And this piece is 2.5 by 3. So it's going to go right here, okay? And so kind of what I was thinking was having a little bit of fun with this guy right here. And I'm making a birthday card, so I'm going to use this happy. Okay, and I'm going to use some Granny Apple Green, some Flirty Flamingo, and Pool Party. These are going to be my main 3 colors for the card, okay? I'm going to set my glue to the side, and I'm going to have a little bit of fun here. I'm going to start in the middle with my Flirty Flamingo because I think that's going to be the simple one. Thank you, Carolyn. I'm glad you like this. Again, this is kind of the first time I've ever done one of these, so thank you guys for bearing with me for it. So there's my happy in that one. We'll set him aside there, out of the way. I'm going to bring my pool party in. It'll be kind of some of the hardest work we do all day here. And I'm going to kind of just pop that down there. Hold that for a second. Yay! I can stamp. And then I got my granny apple green. And then I'm just going to kind of pop him up here. Right. There we go. So having just a little bit of colorful fun there. Yeah, I guess I couldn't stamp twice, right? No brag too soon. And then get my glue back out. We're going to glue him in. I'm just kind of in the mode today to roll with it. We got up this morning, we mowed the yard, and then we went to the swimming pool. Come back, did a little housework. Then I came in here and tried to wrap this up. It's been a crazy week around here. I think the biggest wish set is among my all-time fave. Yes, I love it too, Doc. It is an awesome set. I think that it's got so much versatility with what can be done to it. It can be stepped up, stepped down. It is just awesome, right? Okay, so now we got that part. So now we're going to do the right side. And this one is 3 by 3 1/4. Okay, now it's going to actually be a landscape. So you see why I told you it doesn't really matter exactly what you use over here, because you're only going to see that end piece, right? So that's all you're going to see, okay? So kind of what I thought I would do with this one was I thought I'd actually start bringing in some of my turtles. So I'm going to use some Memento here. And I'm probably going to freak you guys out a little bit by the time I get this done on multiple levels. Sometimes I freak myself out. You guys ever do that when you're stamping and just kind of have that moment like, wow, I can't believe I just did that? So then I want this little guy. Y'all have totally made me need this. Yeah, Cindy, I think you will. I think you won't regret it if you do. Put it that way. I think you'll definitely like it. And then I'm going to come up here and say happy birthday on this. Actually, make sure I got that good and inked. I'm not sure that I do, so I'm going to do a test stamp. Ah, okay, I did. Sometimes I question myself, and it's easier to catch it then than it is after. Birthday. Okay, so there's that. So you can see that's just part of this set right there. So now this is the fun part. I'm going to take my light granny apple green. No surprise there, right? I'm just going to kind of color him in a little bit. And I'm going to color in, I don't know if you want to call this Big Brother, Mama, Turtle, or whatever. You guys figure out who this is if you want to. You can come up with nicknames for them. Okay, so then I'm going to do my dark shading here. It's going to kind of come in here on the neck a little bit here on this one and a little bit on the legs. Same with this little guy here. Not going to try to do a whole lot there, just a little bit of highlighting. Go back in and touch that up just because I like to. Right, this is kind of one of the other hardest parts of the whole project, right? So I do want to give a shout out to Miss Martinette. I think that her doing this for a year, when we started this thing a year ago, who knew that we would still be doing it a year later, right? You know, it started out as a thing that, you know, we just missed getting together and that inspiration from each other. And, you know, we wanted to solve for that. And so this was just, that's how this was born, right? Alright, so I'm just taking my Granny Apple Green, and this is that shell, and I'm going to probably get my head in the camera a little bit because my depth perception stinks. And I'm just going to stamp right over where I colored. Okay? So that's just my little tip with this set, just what little bit of playing I've done. And what's cute is I've actually got a little one for the little turtle as well. So I'm going to, I think I got him lined up. Yeah, I did it right. Okay. So then there's this little stamp that's got grass on it. And I've got it on here. I've double mounted some of my stamps on here so that I could have a little fun with it and make it a little easier on myself. Because they don't float around in the air, right? We can't really have that. That's not realistic. And then I can go in here, and if I want to touch that up and add a little bit more highlight to my grass, I can, right? And you can always add some detail there, however you like. I'm not going to get too detailed in it, because I want us to get finished with this on time, maybe. So that's the inside, right? So we're going to glue this one down. So we got the happy, happy birthday, happy birthday. I'm not going to sing to anybody, don't worry. I don't think you guys would ever watch me again if I did. Because I know I probably wouldn't. How's that? Nobody needs that in their life. Okay, so this, you can stamp here if you want to. And this is kind of where it gets fun, where you've got all these little turtles that you can play with, right? So we'll start by stamping some. Let's get my memento back out. We're just going to put this little baby that's going the other way here. It's going to kind of have him heading to the party too, right? He's heading to the birthday party. That's the concept we're going with today, guys. All these little turtles are having a birthday party. So again, I'm just going to do a little bit of highlighting here. This is pretty quick coloring. Again, I'm just kind of doing the down and dirty blending. I'm not getting really fancy with it today. I can always go back in and touch it up later. Oh, might help if I did that in the right color. I don't need that in black. So, okay, and top that off. I guess that's how they usually turn out, because that way I'm trying to keep my head out of the corner. See how that is? See that little shell there? Didn't quite get it up there where it needed to be. That's what usually happens to Trish, okay? Don't worry. I don't know how about you guys, if that's the kind of same stuff that happens to you, but it definitely does to me. Okay. So now I don't want, I'm going to be picky here. So I'm afraid that's going to carry over there whenever I do this. So I'm going to make a mess here and do something weird. There we go. How's that? Okay. So there's that little guy, and you can always go in there and add some little fun to him if you want to. It's always a good time there, right? So there's that part. So now I've got my card base here. So this is a normal, but this is not an opening card base, okay? This is more like a front. But this is your 5 1/4 or 5.5 by 4 1/4. A layer that's down from that, which is going to be your 4 by 5 1/4. This is the Hostess Designer Series paper. So the white piece is 4 by 5 1/4, and the designer paper is 3 3/4 by 5. So I'm just going to kind of layer this on here. So keep in mind, whatever designer paper you pick, you're only going to see a part of it coming out, right? That's it. the way this is designed, but that's the way this is supposed to go, right? But before you do this, if you wanted to do a back for them to sign, this is where you'd also want just a piece of Whisper White to layer back here. And then you can decorate that back side. I'm probably not going to do that, but you can. So if you're using a darker card base or anything, you can definitely do that. You could actually even make this into a full card, and this would be like a top layer. But just keep in mind, whenever you go to mail this, it's already going to cost a little bit more. So that's just another little tip for you. Again, I'm not going to do the back here on the video today, but I'm just going to pop this up on my dimensionals. If I can find them, I think I buried them back here behind my iPad whenever I was trying to set it down. Bear with me. Oh, okay. And I'll have to reach back there and grab another sheet in a minute. So, you know, you can think about some of the other stamp sets that you could do something like this with. And one of the other ones that I actually was going to play with was the Peekaboo Farm. Yeah, in case you guys hadn't figured it out, I kind of like the cute stuff. I'm not really into the serious and fancy and all that too much. I do have some of the florals and all that, and yes, I do serious cards and all too, but I just get so worn out with them. That's just not as much fun as doing something like this is, for sure, right? Okay, so there's that. So now, I'm going to set that back there out of the way. And I'm going to find what my front piece is supposed to be. I've got everything kind of all jumbled up around here. So I've got a piece ready to go here. I think that's what this is. Yep, that's what this is right here. So we're going to come back in, get these little guys out of the way. So I had a vision for this card, okay? So hopefully you guys are having some fun watching my vision come to life. So thank you for bearing with me while I'm kind of going through this little process. So, and again, we're going to kind of do something similar to what we did here. We're going to go, except we're going to keep it over here and kind of keep it. Oop. Well, that's not good. I got inky fingers. So let's just flip that over. So up there in the corner, because I didn't stamp it straight anyway. And that's okay too. It's been one of those weeks. So just to give you guys a heads up, I've been dealing most of the week with somebody decided to apparently steal my PayPal debit card numbers. And so I've been dealing with PayPal and my bank about like every day this week, right? So it's just been one of those weeks. I mean, it just, I hate a thief with a passion. And this week has definitely been all about that. I mean, it is just, So they went through and they didn't just put one charge on my card. They put like 23 charges for $10 a piece. And then they went through and did about 7 charges for $25 a piece. So I don't know what it is in this world that you are buying that's exactly $10 a piece and exactly $25 a piece. Unless they're buying Bitcoin or something. I have no idea. I don't know enough about Bitcoin to know if you do that in even denominations or what. But whatever it was, they weren't paying taxes on it, right? So, I'm going to go back to my turtle now. And I know you guys probably didn't want to hear all that, but that's just been the kind of week I've had. So this is just a scratch piece of paper. And I'm going to just stamp me a turtle here. Stamp this big guy here. And there's a reason I'm doing this, I promise. Because I actually want to be able to punch him out and put him over on top of this. Okay? And I'm actually going to stamp him twice. make this work, okay? So then we're going to take, I don't think I pulled this stamp out. We're going to pull out this little one that fits in his shell too. It says it's time to celebrate. Don't you love photopolymer? Alright, little guy, I'm not going to be able to see behind you very well. So this is where you guys get to participate for a minute. What color should we stamp? And listen, it doesn't even have to be the colors that I've already got out. That happened to me a few months ago and missed get new cards, change passwords. Yeah, I did that on the PayPal. But the challenge with the PayPal side is, you know, all that feeds into my normal bank account. So, of course, it's all going to post to my normal bank account, which it did. And thank goodness for text alerts, because if it didn't, oh my God, it would have been a lot worse. But it's still wound up in my regular bank account. So it goes into one of my checking accounts. And it's the checking account that I don't generally keep a ton of money in, right? It's just not my thing to do. I don't like keeping a lot of money there. Because then, you know, I have a lot of card controls and limits and everything anyway. So it's going to kick off on my card side on that account, on both accounts really. You know, you can only do so much in a day. And trust me, so even whenever I go putting in Stampin' orders, I have to be aware of that because it's going to kick it. Sometimes I'm going to have to move money or limit or raise that little limit before it'll even let me put a Stampin' order. So that way, if somebody ever does hack in or try to steal anything, they're not going to get much. But I don't keep a lot of money in that account on a normal basis. It's normally only, you know, a couple $100, right? Because it covers a few things here and there. Like I said, but it is, you know, the one that feeds from PayPal. PayPal is the one that I do my Stampin' business with. That's where all my Stampin' orders come from. But, you know, it's just the headache of having to do it. So I'm actually going to do something a little fun here. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to paint them some toenails. You know, you don't have to do that, but I think it'd be cute. It just looks like they need something there. So what color did we say we wanted for the words? You guys didn't vote? What is up with that? Come on, guys. You're supposed to help me out here. So I guess we're just going to go with the granny apple here. And we're going to say it's time to celebrate. I think I'm a couple of minutes long, but that's okay. I think you guys will understand. There we go. I don't know how well I like that. What do you guys think? Do we like that? And if we punch that out and cut that out and put it over top? How do we feel about that? Let's just take a stab at it. What do you think? See what we think. And if I need to, or should I go with a darker green? No, I think this will work. We're going to go with it. I think once it's over this color, it'll be okay. Yeah, not too terrible. And then we pop that out. Right. What do you think? Yep. We're going for it. So now I get my little turtle punch out. And break him in. And fun times in the Todd's craft room. So there's that, and then we're just going to pop that up. Still got a couple dimensionals left over here to pull. There we go. I'm just going to kind of finish this sheet off, I think. Or just about. Put that one there. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you. Oh, yes, Doc, they are. So, but anyways. But yes, so that's been a little bit of chaos this week, plus the crazy work schedule. It's been an interesting year already for folks, for this place, for our house anyway. So again, this is just something a little different than anything I've ever normally done. Hopefully you guys like it. Hopefully I've given you guys enough information that if you wanted to duplicate it, you could. This is probably the first time in a year that I don't have alternate samples to show you. So whenever I said I wasn't quite prepared, I kind of meant it. So, and then we can go in here, and then I thought I'd put the little bird right there with him, right? So there's a little bird in the set, if I can find him. And then we'll decide if we want to embellish it or just leave it as is. Thought I'd go in with my pool party here. Kind of have him with a little friend there. He's heading to the birthday party, right? They're going together. Gotta have the little bird in there somewhere. So let's see if I can keep my head in a good spot there. Stamp him down. There we go. See, he's got his little bird friend going with him. How's that? So there it is, guys. So that was kind of my concept that I had in mind. So again, you can just kind of, whoop, happy, happy, happy birthday. Whee! What do you think? Did I do okay? Everybody happy? Is it a happy, happy, happy birthday for somebody else? Whee! I just think I could do that all day. Yes, that's how old I am too, okay? Don't worry, I act my age every day. So I think I'm going to pop some sequins on here. Because it just feels like a sequin kind of card. What do you guys think? I don't really have any green ones. I was hoping that I would. But we do have these awesome little pool party ones, right? I'm just going to grab these. I guess I could always go with those too, right? But the pool party ones are fun. So let's just have a little fun with that for a second. If I can find my, take my pick. And just pop a couple little sequins on here. Just kind of figuring out where to put them here. There's that one. There's that one. Oh, what do you think? Right in here? That looked like a good spot, guys. We're going for it. Supposed to do it in threes, right? So we're just gonna go right there. Does that look crazy? How's that? So there you go. So there's my card for this month. So I challenge you guys to give this a shot or something similar. Never hurts to try something new, right? And if you haven't participated in these sessions before as, you know, as a presenter, you know, by all means reach out to any of us that have been, and we'll be glad to talk you through some of the technical stuff. It's not as hard as it sounds, I promise. You know, you don't have to have a ton of stuff or anything like that. But there you go. There's our little turtles. And again, using that nice little hostess paper. So have some fun with this concept. Play with it. I mean, I think I could sit here and do this quite a bit, right? It seems like something I could do. I mean, definitely a good time there. Alright. But thank you, Martinette, for a year of this. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Martinette. Yes, I could do that all day. I'll bring it to you in quarterly and see how many times you do it. I'm gonna have we're gonna have a contest, see which one of us does it more. Okay. But yeah. So for those of you, I don't think we're gonna probably have these sessions next month. We usually don't compete with quarterly. So for those of you that'll be there, I look forward to seeing you after a year of being away from everybody. I hope that you'll be there to see me. I look forward to it. It's gonna be great to see everybody in person. So I'm assuming we'll resume back doing this again in August. So for those of you that you got a little time to think about it, you know, get your head wrapped around it. And again, reach out to some of us. We'll be glad to talk you through this and do it. It's a great experience. We got a great team here to try it with. And you just kind of can't mess it up, right? As long as you got something cute to design. And you kind of design on the fly like I did, right? So, but there you go. Okay? So happy birthday to somebody. And we'll talk to you later.